Hello everyone. It's been a few weeks since I've been on live here. There's been a lot of awareness is coming up around this jaw pain that I've been talking about the last couple of videos. This is the third video now, and we're finally getting down to some really subtle awarenesses, the messages that are underneath the creation of the pain, and finally getting me some control over it and some relief, which has been coming the last several weeks, but man, do I have a lot of resistance around feeling the emotions that are behind the pain and the subsequent thoughts which are creating the emotions, and which is that sort of feedback loop. Pain, as Abraham likes to say, is just a loud emotion, loud negative emotion that we have been ignoring for a long, long time, and ultimately has to get loud enough that we can hear it. And that loudness usually shows up in the body more than the surroundings, or at least first in the body, because it's closest to us. It picks up the negative energy the most as we're wandering through life. But the emotions themselves, and then the thoughts behind the emotions, the belief systems, when I'm focusing on something, they don't want to be noticed. They don't want to come to the surface, because there's like a defense mechanism we have built in the subconscious, which is trying to keep us safe all the time, do the best thing for us. But that level of pushing down is really strong. And so if you feel a pain, and then, okay, let's go look for what is it that I'm feeling that's behind this? What am I focusing on? That defense mechanism kicks in, because it's anticipating that you're going to feel something you don't want to feel, that you stuffed down a long time ago. So that's really been what I've been working on the last couple of weeks, just providing space for that to happen, allowing it to come up. A lot of meditation time spent truly getting into a place of no thought, so that I can start to feel what's going on. And then when I do that and get present with the pain, then now I start to get awarenesses. Talked about this in the last couple of videos, but I'm finally getting to that sort of the subtle tuning level that I wanted to get to, where I really have an idea of what it is I'm doing, and then it gives me access to what I want to shift to. So this is a new level for me that I have never been to before, because usually something comes up, pain, I'll just distract myself with something else, just go to something else. Or if it comes back, then you just kind of put up with it, get frustrated, and kind of push through. And there's nothing wrong with distraction, but if you don't face into the thing that you yourself are believing, the focus that you have, even at a subconscious level, then it can't go away. And in fact, each time you come back to it, it just adds, and law of attraction simply attracts more of it. So it's really to your benefit to focus on what it is that you're doing that is creating the situation you're experiencing. It applies to everything. We're creating the whole reality we're living, which I know for some people it's kind of hard to accept, because there's sort of a right-wrong judgment, and guilt and shame are in there, but you're not ever doing anything wrong. It's inherent in the process of growth to go through the negative cycle. It's how you know what you want and what you don't want. You've got to experience the unwanted. But it can certainly benefit us to do that less now. We've got plenty of unwanted stored away in what Abraham calls the vortex. We don't need that anymore. It's time to start moving into what it is that we've created, the positive side, so we can start enjoying it more. So I guess some of the awarenesses I wanted to share today around this, that dovetail on what I talked about in the last couple of videos, which should be up on my Facebook feed if you haven't seen them. I'm starting to upload these to Instagram as well, although I'm behind quite a bit, just because I haven't felt any inspiration because of the pain. But now I'm getting through that, so the energy is coming back. And I'm trying not to be hard on myself. One of the emotions that came up was around this. So the first awareness is then, when I feel the pain, now I ask myself, what is the emotion underneath it? I mentioned that in the last video a little bit, but that was the theory I was aiming for, but I wasn't very good at doing it. What I'm finding, and I kind of just mentioned this from another angle, is that those emotions don't want to be felt. Like if I get the pain, okay, there's an emotional response that I was ignoring that's there. What is it? What am I feeling emotionally? And when I started doing this, it was fuzzy. It's like, I don't know what it is that I'm feeling. I know it doesn't feel good, but what is the emotion? Is it fear? Is it powerlessness? Is it unworthiness? Is it guilt? And so I came up with at least 3 in different categories, different areas of my life. I'm moving along and suddenly pain. Okay, well, what's this emotion behind this? And shame was the first one that came up. Lots of shame when I was a kid, a lot of shaming. I'm sure a lot of you guys have had that as well. The humiliation, embarrassment, all that kind of stuff. So that's still pretty strong. And so then I asked myself, then what's the thought or the belief which is behind that emotion? So behind the shame, then it took me a little bit. Okay, what was I thinking about? Where was I focused when that came up? Well, shame for me is afraid of expressing my feelings or even feeling the feelings. There was a lot of humiliation in my life about, well, everything, but often, being sad or angry or depressed or too happy, that's kind of silly, but I got some focus for that, some shaming, some subtle, just kind of ribbing, like, what are you so happy about? Or, certainly I couldn't get angry, not around my dad, because there was definitely repercussions. So you learn to shut it down. So there's a feeling like if that emotion starts to come up, then shame is an overriding emotion that also gets triggered at that time. And so then I want to shut it down. And I've gotten really good at the positive side. Having our 4-year-old granddaughter, Olivia, as somebody to play with, reminds me how to feel love and joy and appreciation and that playfulness in the moment. I'm very thankful to have had her to allow me to express that and feel comfortable doing it. There was a time I couldn't even say the word love, let alone express it outwardly, except in a personal relationship. One-on-one, I seem to have no problem with that. But in the broader, around other people, it was always hard. But now I don't have a problem with that at all. But there's still something about the lower emotions which get stuck. And if I start feeling like I've got to feel sad or depressed and I want to express that, I just want to get it out, then shame seems to go along with it. So that was one. Another emotion that I noticed, so that happened. So then the happening, the event itself was when other feelings would come up, shame would come with it. So again, the experience, the belief system is what created this emotion, which then is translating, because it's been going on for a long time, into pain. So the next one was guilt. And I looked up jaw pain. I made a bunch of sticky notes, which I keep here on my monitor as a reminder. Shared this with you before. The Messages in the Body book give you a lot of detail around different body areas that when you feel discomfort or have disease or conditions, what is the emotional focus? It helps you to kind of narrow this stuff down. And so one of the things that having jaw pain creates is self-hatred around not being able to make a difference. And that was very interesting. Like, I feel the pain. Okay, what's the emotion? Oh, I'm feeling guilty. What's the guilt? I was thinking about doing these videos, or I was thinking about doing more coaching or doing more in the field that I love so much, which is this self-empowerment work, spiritual self-empowerment. But of course, then I got pain. And so in the pain, I'm not feeling inspired. I don't have the energy to jump on here and get the energy moving that I really want to and deliver the messages that I want to. And so I was actually, by not doing the videos, I was creating guilt, and then the pain showed up. And so when I got the pain, it's like, okay, what was I thinking about? Oh, I was thinking about that I'm not doing anything to move forward my mission. I wasn't doing any videos. So it became a loop. Like, I'm not feeling good, and then suddenly I'm not feeling good about not feeling good. And I think that's one of the reasons it got stuck so long. I didn't have that awareness that I was actually, in that one area, I was still stuck on just not beating myself up for not doing more than I was doing. So I've been able to let that go. And then another part of it that came up along the way was frustration. That was another emotion. When I got a pain, okay, what's the frustration? Well, again, back to the jaw pain in the book, not being able to do things, quote, my way, the way that feels best to me. So often in my life, like a lot of us, I do things the way other people want them to be done, and that makes them happy, and then, I get some relief because I took on their needs as my own. I did that a lot with my parents and a lot of people in earlier life, and I still carry that around. And then I get frustrated because I don't get my needs met. So another area then is when I was thinking about doing something that I would want to do and do it my way, and then and then I block myself. My belief is, oh, I can't do it that way. And then frustration, pain, just like that. So now I just let myself say, okay, if I'm going to do something, I am going to do it my way, and nobody's going to talk me out of it. And nobody's going to tell me that it's the wrong way, that I'm going to do it the way that feels good to me. And that then brings me relief. And what's interesting is in each time when I get one of these, the pain in the jaw, and I sit, and I'll give you a process here in a second to amplify this. When I sit and then I let it come up, and then I remember, okay, so what was I thinking about? Where was I focused? What was going on? Even if it's at a low level, like I wasn't even thinking of anything, but you were. There's a subconscious, a low level thought pattern that was going on, even if it wasn't like way up in your head and you're just actively working on it. If you have the pain, then there's something lower level that's creating it. So notice what I'm focusing on, and then I just ask, is that true? Or what? Oh, this is just that old belief again. Okay, I don't need that. And in that moment, this pain starts to subside. So it's very quick. We can heal extremely quickly if we're willing to stop and feel the discomfort and go into it and get the message from it. And another part of this that came up through the latest channeling I had with Magdalena was ask myself what the intensity level of the pain was. And that was interesting. That I didn't get it the first time that I listened to. I had to go back and listen to the recording a few times. What is the intensity level of the pain this time? So I'm thinking about the guilt of not doing something. Well, when this started, the latest iteration back after New Year's, just a couple months ago, it was intense pain. Like it would just, I have to stop, and it could even double me over. It was so bad. Well, that's mostly gone. I still get a little twinge when I go through one of these, but it's completely different. And so they said, look at the intensity level and rate it 1 to 10. How is it? Based on whatever it is you're focusing on. Whatever the emotion is, what's the intensity level? And then you start to notice, oh, I am making improvement. It is starting to go down. And the times when it's not, then it's time to focus more. Okay, I'm really not letting whatever this is go. If I get the pain, I'm maybe sitting with it for a bit, but I'm distracting myself, or I don't let myself really feel that pain and let it move through my system and have the awarenesses around it. So then it just gives me feedback, and it's time to do a better job. And so now I am doing a better job, and like I said, it's getting a lot better. Still having my moments, and even right now, as I was talking about that process, I'm starting to feel it just a little bit. So if I just stop, just remind myself I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing. I'm on the best path right now. There's no rush to get something done. I don't have to fulfill a mission in 27 hours from now of reaching 1 million people, which is my brain wants that. There's just no rush. Just be with it. And then right now, it's like it's almost completely gone. It subsides really that quickly when you take the time and honor it and get the message. So the process, just to kind of encapsulate it, is stop whatever I'm doing. Like I'm in the middle of a live video, but I started to feel it. I could have ignored it. I could have just gone past it. But stop in that moment, no matter what you're doing, when you notice that pain. Just take a moment to just feel it. Don't push it away. That's our tendency, is to make it go away or distract ourselves or justify or criticize us. Oh, there's that pain again. Dang it, I'm just not doing well. Stop that. Just completely empty your mind if you can. Just relax and sit with it. Sort of like if there was a small child came up to you and was crying. You wouldn't push it away. You'd hold it near to you and let it express what it wants to express. And then you get the message, and you find out why. And then if you can identify the emotion in that moment, for me, that was the hardest part. So I've been sort of struggling with for a while, finally getting some clarity. See if you can identify, well, how am I feeling in this moment? Is it powerless? Is it guilty? Was I feeling anger? What was it? Just be honest with that emotion. For me, like I said, it takes time to become clear. Sometimes I just have to sit there and just not think anything and let it bubble up. And at the same time, notice what you were thinking about when the pain first appeared. Because in that moment, you're getting instant response from the universe. Physicality, sometimes there's a little delay, but it's not much. So where was I focused? What was I thinking about? Maybe I wasn't thinking about anything. I was thinking about I'd like some more coaching clients, but well, that's nothing. But you were thinking about something that didn't feel good. Okay, pay attention. How are you going to shift that? And then, like I was saying about rating the intensity, give yourself a number from 1 to 10. How intense did that pain get? Was it fully a 10 where you just couldn't think or do anything and knocked you over? Or was it maybe a 5 or a 4 or a 3? I'm not getting much above 5 now, where I was having a bunch of 10s back when I started this process. And then give yourself credit when you notice that, yeah, it's a little bit better. It's really good to measure the progress that we've had from the past. We tend to measure against where we think we should be in the future. Mind sets goals, and then, well, I haven't reached there yet. Okay, I'm no good. I haven't made it. Well, what's that doing? Creating more negative emotions. You don't need more of those, right? It's to go the opposite way. So I always say measure backwards. If you want to measure anything in your life about progress, measure backwards. Where was I versus where I am now? And even if you feel like you're not doing as good as you were back then, that you still are doing better, because look at the awarenesses that you have. We're talking about these kinds of processes. You didn't know this stuff a while ago, right? Maybe you're brand new to it. So give yourself credit for that. And then praise yourself for each one of those subtle improvements. Again, sometimes we rely on other people to be our cheerleaders, and you got to be there for me, and that's all fine and good, but you got to be the first one in line. We got to be the first one being there for ourselves, because they will come and go, people on the outside. So praise yourself when you make even the smallest improvements and stay focused in that positive energy, and of course that's going to sway the frequency up to the positive end of the scale. You can't be in a negative thought pattern and a positive one at the same time. So we're just continuing to practice moving into the positive direction, and then pain and the negative emotions have to subside by definition. It's just the momentum goes in that direction a lot easier when we do that work. So this whole process, this whole experience is just about building awareness of what we're doing that's creating our own pain. Again, nothing going wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. No self-criticism, no self-judgment, no guilt is allowed in this process. Just building awareness of, here's something I'm doing that I didn't know it. I grew up doing it. I've got self-defense mechanisms in there which are helping me to say, they think are keeping me safe, but now I don't need that anymore. It's safe now for me to feel the feelings so I can release them. So it's the empowering then, as a result of doing that, of ourselves by receiving the message that is always contained within the pain. Any discomfort always has a message, no matter how strong or weak it is. It's just a GPS saying, hey, are you focusing in the direction you want to be focusing in or not? And if not, do something different. You have the awareness. Once you have the awareness, it's no longer a habit, as Bashar says, it's a choice. So decide to make some choices and play around and see what you can do to make the energy feel better. See if you can soften the pain. And if the pain won't soften, at least give yourself a break. Give yourself a little rest. Do what you can to get back focused on something. And distraction's okay too. Go off and do something else that can make you feel better. But don't shy away from allowing these emotions to come up and the pain that's associated so that they can be released permanently. And once you release one of these layers, they're gone. Because the messenger doesn't need to deliver the message anymore if you got the message. And so that layer goes away. It can happen very quickly. So I do please encourage you to give this a try and see what you can do. So what are you going to do differently as a result of all this stuff coming out of me here about pain and such? What has shifted within you? What is new that you didn't know before? And if you feel like sharing your thoughts in the comments, I always love hearing from you guys. I like to know how it's working, or if there's something you want to know about that I've come across, I'm happy to share it. Or if you don't agree, that's perfectly fine too. I've always got stuff to learn about the processes as well. So I love to hear from you. So, and if there was any benefit to you, I always encourage you to share it with other people who you think might benefit. We're all in this together. We're all creating this amazing evolution on this planet right now. This is the most powerful year yet, 2024. All the guides, all the channeling points to this being the massive year of evolution. So let's help as many people as we can by first doing the work on ourselves and getting the movement, and then sharing with others in whatever way we can. And so if you'd like to connect with me, please reach out on Facebook anytime. I spend a lot of time there. A lot of wonderful people on Facebook, a lot of wonderful groups. It's a great place to be. And I'm always happy to connect with anybody who wants to reach out. And I'm also on intuitivecoachkevin.com. If you want to book a session, have a free discovery session, just chat about stuff. Once again, this is what I love to do. So Love to hear from you guys. Anyways, good luck with the processes. I hope this was helpful, and we will see you in the next video. Have a wonderfully self-empowered day. Bye for now.